Well, Gabby, it is so great to see you.
Hello, Peter. I am so excited to be coming back to Stockton, one of my favorite places, and I'm so excited we get to do the Grieg piano concerto this time.
You're a real favorite here in Stockton. I think it was just a couple of seasons ago that you did the Rachmaninoff Second Piano Concerto with us.
I think of Stockton so fondly that it felt like just yesterday.
There you
But I'm
go.
excited to be back soon.
And two of your favorite fans, Anne and Phil Berolzheimer, have sponsored you for many of your performances here, going back over a decade. It's so sad that Phil passed away recently, but one of the very last things he did was to contribute very generously to be a sponsor of yours again.
That is so wonderful to hear. The Berolzheimers have been such a special part of my time in Stockton. They're dear friends. Phil will be missed so much, and I am just honored to have known him.
We'll all miss him.
Yeah.
So, you have played many of the most famous piano concertos all around the world. How often do you get to play the Grieg?
The Greek is one of those gems. It truly is one of the greatest piano concertos. I perform it quite often. I performed it a couple of weeks ago, actually, in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Aha.
And it really is such a fun piece, and I am so looking forward to it. Grieg was a Norwegian composer, and when I think of this piece, I think of the landscapes, the folk music. I picture fjords, I picture beauty, nature. It's a really wonderful concerto. If you listen to it with like a magnifying glass, you'll find the same themes and melodies throughout, but he does such a great job of changing instrumentation, changing the colors slightly, and just modifying them to give us more colors, more textures. It's just really beautiful writing.
In addition to those Norwegian melodies that you're talking about, Grieg also incorporated some Norwegian dance-like elements into the piece. There's a dance in folk culture called the halling, Halling, and you hear those halling type rhythms in the last movement and a little bit in the first movement too.
I wish I knew what the dance looked like, but I feel like we should practice it.
Yeah, maybe people will be dancing in the aisles when you play.
I would love that. No, but you're right. You can hear in this third movement, there is the dance theme, and it's almost like a foot stomping throughout the movement, and it's just so much fun.
So, what is your life like these days? Because you were balancing traveling all over the world and soloing with orchestras, but you're also raising an incredible family. What's that like for you?
I like to say that I have the best of both worlds. When I'm home, I get to practice when my kids are in school, and then I get to spend the afternoons with them. I do travel for concerts. It takes a village, and I have the best village in my husband and my parents. They run the show when I'm out of town. But I'm lucky. I have little kids. They're 5 and 9, and I try to spend as much time as I can with them. They're kind of the golden years, and it's fun. And also for them to be able to hear music and be surrounded by piano.
They may become musicians or they may go off in a completely different direction, right?
I think that the important thing for me is that they have music in their life. I think it's one of the most wonderful gifts that we can have. And playing even a little bit, it goes a really long way to be able to be surrounded by music. So as long as they have music in their lives, they can do whatever they're happy with.
Now, the last time we did one of these interviews, a couple of seasons ago, you told me of your early childhood, these extraordinary stories where you could just go to the piano and pick out things by ear.
So yeah, I am the fifth generation female pianist. So you could say piano is pretty much in my DNA. There's non-negotiable. My mom, she would teach in our home in Caracas in Venezuela. And the story is that one day my mom finished her lesson. Her student went home. She went upstairs to make dinner, and she hears dun dee dun 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 dun. It's the beginning of the Beethoven Second Piano Concerto. And she had just been teaching that to her student. So she runs downstairs. She thought she had sent her home. Maybe she came back. Her mom hadn't picked her up. My mom was confused. And she comes down and it's me. She's playing it on the piano by ear, trying to figure out where
Oh,
the notes are. And I knew what the notes were and I'm playing them. And I that was the aha moment for my mom. And I said, well, if you're not going to teach me, I'm going to figure it out. And she said, all right, I will teach you how to play piano, but you have to learn how to read music. You can't play by ear like this. You have to learn how to read. And I said, great. And I want to play the Beethoven Second Piano Concerto. At 5 years old, she was like,
You're
okay, sure.
negotiating already. Yeah.
But sure enough, I played it a year later. I was determined. I love that piece and I played it.
There's the benchmark, everybody. It takes you from square zero to 1 year to learn the Beethoven Second Piano Concerto.
If you practice enough, you do it. Something that I think of also growing up, I was very, very, very lucky to be able to live with my teacher. I
Yeah.
learned how to practice effectively so quickly. I didn't want to waste time playing things that I didn't need to work on. And it started, she would say from the kitchen, like, do the development again, or repeat, there's a wrong note in this section. So from a very early age, I learned the importance of quality practicing over quantity.
There are a couple of remarkable things there. First of all, it's not normal that a parent and child have a reasonable relationship if the parent is teaching the child music. Usually it doesn't work out well after a while. And so
Right.
that's great that you and your mom could have that relationship. Another question that really comes to my mind is, do you still ever just for fun pick things out by ear? Or is it now pretty much from the notation?
That's a great question because I've always been curious. We talk about perfect pitch or being able to hear the notes and play them. And I'm always curious how that happens. If it's learned, if it can be taught, or if it's genetic, or if it's a mix of both. And I also wonder, when I hear my kids singing something back, they both have perfect pitch and they sing it. And it's certainly not something that I've taught them. So to answer your question is yes, I can play anything back by ear. And yes, sometimes I'll play other things. For example, I am a big Taylor Swift fan. So
Uh-huh.
when her new album came out recently, you bet I was at the piano trying to play those songs as breaks and singing with my daughter for fun. I think one wonderful thing, though, about the piano repertoire is that we have so much incredible music already written. I have a stack of music on my piano of things that have already been written that I want to learn. And in the free time that I do have in between concerts, you'll find me trying to learn a new piece, a new concerto. So much written for piano. That's so incredible.
Now, something else that you're going to treat at least part of our public to when you're out here is that you're going to be giving a master class at the University of the Pacific's Conservatory.
In fact, I know a couple of students from there and from the area that I've gotten to know over the years. Some of them have been at the Brevard Music Festival where I
Uh-huh.
teach over the summer. I love being able to share music with piano students and just being able to chat in all different ways about the music, about the performances. And I'm thrilled to be able to come back and do that again.
To circle back to your Grieg piano concerto, don't you feel that every time you relive it, it's always just a little bit different, maybe fresh?
Absolutely. I find that in the Grieg, he really does a good job of explaining tempos and dynamics, but there is room for us to be able to live the music in the moment. There's always, I feel, a little bit more freedom and inspiration when we are performing it live, when we have an audience, the adrenaline is pumping. So it's really fun. There's always something to do and ways to keep the piece interesting and fresh.
Well, every time you come and visit us, Gabby, it's fresh and it's engaging, and we're just so looking forward to this performance with you, and it'll be great to see you again.
I am so looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you.